So people keep asking me how I can get through so many books, why I'm reading so many different books, how can I keep up with all these ideas? And the truth is, I have nothing better to do. That really is the truth, but it's somewhat beneficial in the regards that I'm filling my head with things that are positive. I'm filling my head with better ideas. I'm learning new ways to think, new ways to process things, new ways to adapt to problems. And I think Schopenhauer put it best. Reading is supplementing your brain for someone else's ideas. And when you can think something differently about a problem, a situation, then you can go about it in a different manner. If you continue to do the same thing time and time again, you will continue to get the same results. I think it's Einstein that said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So I think reading is one of the greatest tools you can use to start changing how you think, how you process things. We're all being affected by everything around us in real time. And if you don't want to succumb to the negativity, to all the stupidity that's in this world, I think reading is the best way to fill your head with better ideas. I mean, you could also just watch my videos, that's also an option as well, but you'll probably become dumber if you do that, so. But anyway, I'm going to talk about a few things that you can do, a few things that I did, what I found really helpful, the things that I would stay away from, and hopefully this is a less formal approach than I've taken in the past, because I've made videos like this and I've given like 3 ways to get into reading or this or that, but like I'm just going to talk in this one. I think you guys appreciate that from me. I think you guys appreciate that much more than me doing like a set rigid thing. So here we go. The first thing I want to suggest is don't make such a big deal out of it. If you miss reading one day, don't get in your head and say, oh my God, I was supposed to stay up on this habit. I was supposed to do this. I was supposed to do that. Like when you're building a habit, it's resistance. It's trying to make yourself do something you don't want to do. And the worse you get on yourself, the harder you are on yourself, the more likely you are to just give up. When you give yourself some slack, when you put it in your mind that like, hey, I haven't read since I was in high school, I haven't read since I was a child, I haven't, tried to stimulate my brain at all, so of course it's going to be difficult in the beginning. When you take it that way and when you just forgive yourself and drop the failure, drop the days that you missed in a row, like, it does you nothing for you to get in your own head and call yourself a loser and call yourself all of these things because you didn't do something you told yourself you were going to do. You know what? Just forget it, move on to tomorrow, and if you do it tomorrow, then good. Forget it, have amnesia, and just keep going. That's the best piece of advice I can give you, not just for getting into reading, but to getting into any habit. Any habit is best done by starting off small and building upon that small little thing that you're trying to do, because it's not the giant changes that make the biggest difference. It's the small changes that we keep for a lifetime that make the biggest impact on our lives. And I think reading is one of the smallest changes that you can make that could have the greatest impact on your life. The next thing I want you to understand is most people don't retain much from reading. Most people will read a book and it will just pass through their mind. Like if you've ever talked to someone that's been reading books their whole lives, they don't even really remember what they read about the book. They just remember they liked it. So like just understand that you're going to forget things that you read. You might not get everything your first try, but what I want you to do is try to take 1 or 2 things away from everything you read. Take 1 or 2 interesting ideas and just be able to talk about it with someone. Not for the sake of sounding smart, but for the sake of retaining at least a little bit of what you put in. Like, it's going to be impossible for you to remember every single sentence, every single word, every single idea. But if you can try to just take away 1 to 2 key ideas and start thinking of things in your life in that manner, that's a great resource you can now pull from. Think of reading, think of learning as compounding interest. If you learn a new way to solve a problem, if you learn a new hack, if you learn a new, approach, a new way to rationalize, a new way to meditate, that's a tool you can pull from for the rest of your life. So that little bit of time that you invested, those few hours to read that book, guess what? Now you have a wealth of information that you can pull from and you can use when the time is needed, when the scenario meets exactly the criteria for this exact solution. And I think if you start thinking of things in this way and really just take a more modest approach to what you're actually learning, what you're actually picking up, that is the best way to do it. And, on this subject as well, I think when you start to read more and more, you start to see the similarities. So like right now I'm reading Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer is very, very weird. It's very, very unique. And the more I read it, the more I'm just like, okay, I know Schopenhauer studied Buddhism, so take these ideas in a Buddhist context. And because I've studied Buddhism, because I've studied Taoism, it's really simple. It's really easy, and it's really easy to understand his pessimism because Gautam Buddha said himself, the world is suffering. So when you take that idea of suffering, not in a negative light, but just a reality, and take his pessimism and understand it to be a statement of we must get beyond the suffering, we must drop all of our needs, we must drop all of our desires, and that in that state is happiness, then it makes complete and utter sense. And I think the more we start to tie ideas together, the more we start to see analogies, the better we are able to adapt to new scenarios, because it's your ability to see a scenario in one context and apply it to the next that really makes you a good problem solver. That's the real skill that is going to be in high demand in the next 20 years, because AI is going to take the data input jobs. AI is going to take a lot of the things. But when I'm having discussions with AI, when I'm asking AI about certain historical facts, certain ideas and philosophy, it can't tie the two things together. It cannot tie Buddhism with Emerson. It cannot make sense of them. You know, Emerson to me is literally just a Taoist. He's literally just a Buddhist, but it can't put the beliefs together because it needs to separate things. It needs to categorize things. Use this ability of your mind to combine things. Use this ability of your mind to synthesize things, and I'm telling you, you're gonna go a really, really, really long way in this world. The people that can analogize, the people that can take things from everything and learn things from every single example and take every experience for what it is, are the people that are gonna go the furthest, especially in this adapting world. And the last thing I wanna leave you guys with is just set a quick, easy habit of what you wanna read. So if you're completely new to reading and it's really difficult for you to focus, read 5 to 10 pages a night. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to be like, well, I see Bino reading a book a week. I see Bino reading 3-4 books a week. Like, that's me. I've been doing this for years. I'm really obsessed with this. You're probably not at the same level where you can sit down and reading is fun for you. It will get to that level at some point, but it takes a lot of hours. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of dedication. Think about any sort of thing. It's a while before it becomes fun. It's a while before you can actually apply the skills that you're learning. So just keep consistent, and I want you to drill it into your head. 5 to 10 pages every single day. If I mess up, it's not a big deal, but I want you to stick to that and try your best to find something that you actually are interested in. What is something that you could read about that it just doesn't bore you? Like, for some people it might be sports, for other people it might be philosophy, for other people it might be religion. Find a book that you're extremely interested in and just really dedicate yourself to finishing it. And then when you're done with that, get a next book, and then a next book, and then a next book. I want you to always have a book that you're going to read next. I don't want you to have an excuse not to read. I don't want you to have an excuse not to expand your mind, because what reading is to me is expanding your perspective. You're seeing something through a different person's eyes, and when you could see stuff through a different person's eyes, you can get past yourself. You can get past your own sensibilities. You can start breaking the habit of being you. You can start breaking the thought loops, the patterns that are keeping you in your current situation, and it is the greatest way for consciousness expansion. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Please, 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 if you need book suggestions, ask me in the comments. I will give you a bunch of them. I will give you based off whatever you're asking for. I just want people to read just like I have been reading for the past few years, and really loving it and really seeing the benefits in my life. So let me know. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to be a part of your journey. I'm here to inspire you guys to take a similar path to me, because I think that, I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't found reading. I don't know exactly where I'd be. I don't think I'd be talking to you right now. I don't think I'd be as articulate. I don't think my mind would be as healthy, or I'd be able to handle situations the way I've been able to handle them of late. So with that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.